Do you have a history buff in your family? Well, the Historical Society of Michigan has released the 8th edition of the Historic Michigan Travel Guide. It's full of photos and features nearly 500 museums, historical sites, and attractions from across the state. And joining me now to talk about it is Larry J. Wagner. He's the Executive Director and the CEO of the Historical Society of Michigan. Larry, I hope you're staying warm this weekend.
Trying to the best I can. It's pretty cold out there this morning.
It is, but Larry, first off, tell me what you can find inside of the travel guide and what's new about the 8th edition.
It's a really great, useful tool. It has nearly 500 museums and historic sites from all over Michigan. So you can travel whether you're up in the UP, Detroit area, Western Michigan. Just lots to discover in this guide. It's quite an improvement over the 7th edition, and the 7th edition was published 7 years ago. So a lot of new things have happened, new organizations and museums have popped up, so it's a really great, useful tool. It really reinforces cultural and heritage tourism in our state.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the history of the travel guide. Why did you guys decide to put it out?
Well, we published it first back in 1979, 1980, the very first edition. There were 3 kind of stapled editions back in that era. Then for 25 years, we didn't publish it. In about 2006, 2007, we approached Meijer, Michigan's leading retailer, to help us bring it back to life. And the 4th edition came out around that time, and we had several editions after that, and of course 7 years since the last 7th edition. And you can find this travel guide in every Meijer store, Barnes & Noble, and you can order it on our website at hsmichigan.org.
Very cool. Now, there's over 500 attractions, I think we mentioned in the guide. What's the process to assemble all this information?
That's quite an undertaking, and actually that's part of the challenge of trying to get this guide out, because as the Historical Society of Michigan, we track local historical organizations all across the state, and there's a lot of compilation that has to occur. And our staff worked, and I worked with Amy Bradfield, my co-editor, over the course of the last year to put this together. And yeah, quite a long and winding road, but we're really proud of the output and how useful it will be to anyone who purchases it.
500 sites is a lot. How many have you visited, Larry?
I bet you I've been to 2/3 to 3/4 of them. I've been in this position for over 22 years as a director of the Historical Society of Michigan. And we're a private nonprofit. We're not affiliated with the state of Michigan. So we're kind of scrappy, but we do a lot with what we have. And I've been able to visit many of those organizations and entities across the state over the years.
Very impressive. So you have to give us, Larry, what are some hidden gems that everyone should check off the list, at least at one point in their life?
Well, I mean, you got some local real gems there in the Detroit area. I'm from Grand Rapids myself, and we have some in our neck of the woods too. But the Troy Historic Village up in Troy is wonderful. Taking a visit to the Fort Piquette plant there in downtown Detroit's great. Just outside the city and in Plymouth, there's a wonderful Plymouth Museum. Farther afield, there's places like Charlton Park and Hastings in western Michigan, or the Atlanta Henry Ford site up in the UP. The Marquette Area Historical Research Center is a wonderful place up in the UP. There are hidden gems all over the state.
Do you have a favorite?
Boy, that's tough. I mean, there are some wonderful ones, like who could not love Mackinac State Historic Park, for example. I mean, many of us have been there. I guess I'd go back to Charlton Park and Hastings. That's one of my favorites. Went there this fall to visit them, and just really impressed with what they've been able to do in that small community. It's a really impressive historical village if you get there. But Detroit Historical Society and their museum downtown, what a wonderful place to visit. So just lots of, I don't know if I have one favorite, but I have a lot of favorites.
I mean, we have a pretty cool state, so I understand that. But Larry, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. Great information.